This is TWiT. This was March 31st was the rumored day that Apple would be having an event. I guess because it's a Tuesday and it's the last Tuesday in March, and that's what they did.
That's in the brighter timeline, Leo. We're in the darkest timeline.
Yeah, we are. The only question is when this dark timeline began, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Can I say, Renee, that this is a big disadvantage because, like, we all have sources of information, like, that we can use or we can't use, and it's usually when we try to figure out what Apple is going to be working on or what they're going to be announcing, it's a whole bunch of factors. But for me, as soon as I go on Instagram and I see that shot of your watch flying from Canada to New York or San Francisco, I know that, okay, I had A, B, C, but now that I've got D, I'd better prepare to cover something next week. And now that there's no travel, I got nothing.
Yeah.
You might still travel.
In one way, it's good, though, because people started, like, I don't want to say stalking, but there was a bit of a paparazzi thing when people started traveling. There was all this offline gossip. Where are they going? What's happening? And then if you weren't going, like, are they going somewhere? What's happening? And it's sort of nice that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I think there was one time when Renee was just in New York with family, and people started asking about whether or not there was an event or something. Like, whoa. I'm just hanging out with my family.
I think it was me asking. He's in New York. We know there's a briefing. I do hope you still get invited to briefings. I presume Apple loves you and would still do that.
I hope so. I never take anything for granted. It's always nice if it happens.
Trust me, it's not worth it.
I've girded myself for just covering it remotely.
They'll break your heart. They really will. You give them a chance.
But it is nice to not be traveling. Like, as much as it's fun to go, like, and Lori's been with the last couple with me, and it's like Christmas Eve. Like, part of you just wants to be over and have the presents. It's like just waiting and going through it is the hard part. You just want it to be over and have the presents.
If I spend no more time in an airport lounge, I will be happy. And so far, that looks like that's possible.
Yeah.
There you go.
So what would they have announced today had they had an event?
iPhone 9.
iPads, MacBook Air.
iPhone 9. There is there apparently a case site has put up a date, April 5th. I never trust the case sites because they're throwing it up against the wall. But is that credible that they might still ship a successor to the iPhone SE in the next week?
Well, the story is that the story is that Best Buy and other retailers have actually received product in boxes of cases for an iPhone 9 with instructions do not put these out until April 5th. So and along with people, of course, have pictures of these things
from Apple or from a third party. Cases.
From third parties, but they certainly wouldn't ship product unless they really thought that this is when they're going to need to be on the shelves, and it's hard to now. Again, we can't make any assumptions about anything. So now it's sort of you're left wondering how long would it how long is that thread that once you yank that cord. Is it now possible to stop something that was planned 8 months in advance in terms of like putting things into the retail chain and getting things in, working with Best Buy's timeline and other retail stores' timeline? At some point, is it even possible to say, Apple has told us that they are delaying this, assume they're doing this. Apple has told us that they're not going to be shipping this in April. They're going to be shipping this on March 31st. They're going to be shipping this in July now, but don't even ship these out. Well, no, they've already been out and they've already been printed with the information about when it should go out, when it shouldn't. So we're in a maze of twisty passages all alike.
And is the name 9 it's carved in their sides? I mean, is that going to be the name?
The profile looks like an iPhone 9.
but 9. I mean, would
yeah.
See, I think naming it the iPhone 9 is a mistake. But
we've gone back and forth with what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And I personally, Leo, I think 9 makes more sense than SE2, and that's because SE has it's attached to it is the idea of the smaller form factor.
Yeah.
And I think Renee also has mentioned that Apple doesn't reuse names that often. So that's twofold. There's going to be a lot of SE fans like me who are going to be really upset that they're calling it SE when it's not small, even though SE doesn't stand for small in any way. That's just the way we kind of identify with that phone.
Small.
But also because Apple doesn't tend to reuse names. So 9 makes more sense to me
But we're at 11. I think people will say, "Oh, that's the 2-year-old iPhone."
Leo.
No.
They paint themselves into marketing corners.
Here's what they do. I know what they're going to do. It's just the iPhone.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Yeah, no, I think that's what they're going to do because that's what they did with the iPad, right?
But someone's going to walk in and they'll say, "Do you want the iPhone or the iPhone 11?" They go, "Where's the other 10 iPhones?"
Nobody says that. Nobody, and
well,
definitely not in that
I want iPhone
Dick
7.
Van Dyke
Where's
accent.
my iPhone 9?
Well, I just went back. I'm sorry, just to button something that was asked before. I just went back to the 95 Mac site that has pictures of it, and it's actually it's a very pretty looking case, but it's labeled as the new iPhone 4.7 inch 2020. So it's not designed for it. So it doesn't say iPhone 9, doesn't iPhone SE. So for all we know, this company is like
HTC names proud.
Yeah.
That's not the name. That's what the case manufacturers put on there, so it would be clear what this goes to.
Right.
Yeah. But it's also clear that they didn't know. I'm sorry.
They didn't know, right? That's because it's going to be called the iPhone, and you can't just write the iPhone on the case, right? That's my prediction.
Right. And to me that reeks of we're hedging our bets, and we're just going forward even though we don't have actual information. If Apple were working with retailers to tell them, okay, we're going to put out a phone, here's the specs, here's what the camera's going to look like, here's the thickness, it's going to be called this, you'd have that information on your phone case. But if Apple's not actually working directly with these manufacturers, these are people just speculating on it, and case makers do this all the time. They speculate on what the next phone is going to be like. They have plenty of, probably more rumors than we do, to figure out how they're going to make their case, what they're going to make it look like, and they just kind of hope that that's right. And then if it's not right, then they take that quick loss, but they've already got, the manufacturing in place to just quickly change what it actually is and make it look right, or change the cover so that it doesn't look like it doesn't say iPhone 4.1 inch or whatever, or 4.7 inch. It actually says iPhone SE or iPhone 9 or something like that. Yeah. So to me, that's proof that they don't know what's coming.
I think you're right. It's kind of suspicious. Also, the maker, it's not like it's in case or major maker. The phone they have is Urban Armor Gear. However, usually when I see manufacturers make bets like that, they will make kind of like a basic run that they can eat if they have to, and they're certainly not going to box them and ship them. And given that this is supposed to be displayed at Best Buy, probably this company had to actually purchase space on the rack. So either they were either drunk with conviction here. They had the animal entrails, they had the Pop-O-Matic Magic 8-Ball. They were that convinced that there was going to be a new iPhone and that it was going to fit this case, or at some point they were told, here is what it's going to look like, here is when we intend to ship it.
Apple never does that.
Yeah, and some companies have bet wrong. Like, remember The Verge when they were, this is my next, they had a design for a teardrop iPhone 5, and one of the case makers went all in on doing it, and they lost
as far as I know, Apple, and I've talked to some accessory makers, does not communicate their design information ahead of time.
Which is why they pay so much to the analysts to get it off the supply chain, Right. But it's interesting to me that they could call it anything. Like, that's just a matter of, I don't know if it's Phil Schiller or Greg Joswiak or somebody goes over and makes a final decision off the list of, they typically pick a name and then they have a list of every possible alternative and they go back and forth. They decide either the original name or one of the alternatives is better and they go with that. But like I talked with Lori, they could call it the iPhone Mother of Dragons if they want. Literally, marketing decision.
And they should.
Yeah, no, they totally should. So to me, it's more like, how are they going to position it, especially trying to sell it now? Like, what does that announcement look like? I could imagine if the event was on, it would be an almost beat for beat replay of the iPhone SE. Some of our customers love the home button. They've told us how much they love it. So we're bringing back the home button, but we're doing it with all and then they show off the great cameras and they show off all the things that you can finally get with the home button iPhone. And then they introduce the AirTags as instead of AirPods, AirTags is the other new cool accessory you can get. But
that's one of the things they would be announcing today, probably, right? AirTags.
Probably, and how do you do it in a way, especially if you go out and lose your phone, you're like, I'm not going out. Really not going out right now. So I'm just super interested in how Apple positions this when they go to market.
And to say nothing of the fact that Apple's never revealed here's the percentage of iPhones that we sell via the website versus here's how many we sell throughout the retail stores. Now they have no one coming into retail stores. There are rumors that there's going to have a soft opening of some stores at the end of the month. I think that's wishful thinking, but again, there's so much that we have to guess at right now. That are they going to think that it's too important to launch a new phone today so that we can launch the next phone in September or October, that we are willing to eat a we're willing to waste a really big product launch on what's has to be very, very mediocre sales, and also to say nothing of the fact that we're not going to be able to do our communication as well as we possibly could. We can't bring people into a hotel room and give them the usual hour and a half. We want to make sure that we tell you everything that we think is important about this, and we want to make sure that we're showing you every step of the way what's going on. They're going to have to just ship it to do a FaceTime video and hope for the best. This is I'm being quite serious here. Part of what makes these times interesting, once we partition out, we shouldn't, but if we mentally block out the danger to businesses, the danger to life, it's interesting to see. Here's how Stephen Colbert will do a late night TV show streaming from their house and without the reaction of a live audience.
He did it. It was terrible.
No, I thought it was.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm thinking of John Oliver. John Oliver did it and it was terrible. I haven't seen Colbert's version.
Well, but he said he was used to that because British comedians don't get laughs anymore.
Right, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. So now we're going to
we are in uncharted territory. Absolutely.
Exactly. What I love about this sort of TV is that it's usually so controlled,
right,
that nothing can possibly happen that has not been plotted out.
They all look like us now.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And maybe we're going to see that sort of thing. Yeah. Well, here's how Apple does a product launch from their homes without the resources.
Well, what do you do if you're Apple? Okay, so clearly you're not going to do an event today. Clearly the tags, you're not going to do a press release. You're going to wait for an event? What are you going to do?
Well, they did a press release with the iPad and Apple.
But those were look. In fact, in hindsight, that new iPad was barely an update, and the Mac.
It's a developer model.
Yeah, and the MacBook Air barely an update. You know, it had good keyboard, so that's actually more significant. But these were kind of much more like the slipstreamed product releases you'd expect every year or so with Apple existing products. A new product announcement. How does Apple do it in this day and age? Do you wait until this is over? That could be next year. What do you do?
I would take that video team they have and say, make us an awesome video that we could put up on apple.com and everybody can stream it right now. And maybe you have, Craig walking around and you have Jaws or Phil or whoever the product manager is for it.
I did like Craig's video that he did apparently in his office with demonstrating the mouse features. I thought that was well done.
Yeah.
So
he's Craig. He's great at that stuff.
He could do that, I guess.
It's a great opportunity for augmented reality. I'm saying that completely seriously. What if they did like a keynote in which basically just clear off this much of your table and just simply hold up your phone and you will see you'll be about 40 rows back, but you can change the angle however you want. And then once you get the product, you can go to the demo area and just simply put this on any space you want. If you are just contemplating buying this sort of thing, you can sort of fondle it, even though you can't fondle it in the store. If you are Rene Ritchie, Rene Ritchie already has one. But if you are an independent, if you are someone who does not have access to review hardware, you can now have video of this thing a week in advance. There's so many things they could do. It's exciting.
But how does David Bogart the only actual physical unit while everyone else is standing around waiting in an AR environment? I mean, these things have to be factored in.
Is that what happens at those demos? Now the truth comes out. Now that Rene is on his own.
It is funny because you have like big broadcast cameras and people doing live hits, and then you have like the YouTubers with their cameras, and then you have the people desperate to get it up like right away, like the traditional bloggers. Yeah. And there's never enough to go around.
Journalism used to be a gentleman's occupation. Now the hordes, the riffraff have been let in.
When Periscope, and I forget the other one, Meerkat or something came out, and there was just a bunch of people trying to live stream slamming into each other at tables because they weren't paying attention. You're just like, avoid the streamers, avoid the streamers.